The dough is made usually at the end of the day, but we're showing this video kind of in reverse order, so that it will look more like the order of how you would make dough or make conchas. But the reality is they make this dough at the end of the day and have it ready for the next day because it has to rest. It's got a great deal of butter. This is for the recipe here is an enormous recipe made for the bakery. Kilos of everything, butter and eggs and flour and sugar and everything, milk. That gets put into one of those big industrial sized mixers, and it has to wait for a while in the mixer until it gets gooey like that, and you can see all the yeast bubbling up. Once it sits long enough and they're satisfied that it's sat long enough, they take it out in these big pieces and big chunks, and they wrap it up like a big pillow and cover it in oil, and then let it sit again. I believe it sits overnight in a refrigerator, and it sits overnight to rise. There's a machine, you see, those little pieces of dough are all cut out to be the exact same size, and there's a press, and they put the dough in the press and it cuts it out to be the exact same size. And this is the maestro. He's making the dough balls, and it takes a lot of concentration for someone who's never done it before like us. We were doing it and it took us forever. But he's sitting there talking and laughing and carrying on and making two at a time, and we were struggling to do one at a time. Here's Alicia making dough balls, trying to use the same process. And it gets hard. It just doesn't work the same as for us as it did for the maestro. After a while, we got the hang of it. We're able to make the balls look round, even though after they cooked, they didn't turn out the same. But now we're putting almost like a Crisco lard over the tops of the balls. And I don't know exactly what that's for, but it gets it ready for the next step, which is to take the sweet dough, which is a mixture of flour and sugar and I believe egg, I'm not sure, and put that on top, and then give it its traditional concha shape or the design, and that's done with that little form right there. And so there's an art to doing that as well. You'll see here, Alicia is doing her first one, and it takes a while to learn how to do it, to get that little piece of dough to be round in your hand and not stick all over the place, and then get it round enough to where it lays on top of the ball, and then to take your hand and to mash it on top and to flatten that ball properly. He's doing it for us right now very slowly in slow motion. In just a little while, we're going to see how they do it really fast. And they don't sit around and form it like we did and make sure it was perfect. They go boom, 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 slap, slap, slap. And again, they take another little piece, boom, 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 slap, slap, slap. They just go really fast. It's really impressive to watch how quickly these guys can do conchas. It looks like the video is going in fast motion video, but this is normal speed. And these guys are just really fast, and then he takes that form, that little mold, and gives them all their traditional concha design on top. So here's Alicia doing it one more time. She's getting better. Makes the flippity flap, and then whack, 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 and flattens that dough down. It has to be flat. It needs to be flattened down, and so that in a little while it's going to rise and really stretch out that design on top. So she goes 1, 2, 3. She finishes her rack pretty quickly for a first timer. Boom, done. Now it sits for about 20 minutes, and you see how they've risen now, and they're fat, and the design on top that used to be just flat is now stretched out and opened up to look like the shape of a shell. And that's where the term concha comes from. And now they go into this huge oven. Huge oven has a big carousel inside of 5 long racks, the entire length of what you see. And so they can put in this oven, they can put, it looks like probably 6 or 7 of those trays times 5. So it'd be 35 different racks, and it's gas heated, and those carousels just keep going around all day long, and as they're cooking bread. And it could be anything from conchas to cuernos to There's all sorts of different sweetbreads that they make in this bakery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 or 6 trays. So it's full of bread, and it's always pumping out fresh sweet bread all the time. You can see our conchas on the left there, on the right. They're kind of deformed and misshaped, but it was our first time that we'd ever done it. We were excited to have them turn out the way that they did. Here we are with the owner of the bakery, of the Panaderia. After all the conchas are done, and even the ones that we made, some of them, they actually go into the bakery underneath, and then they sell them. Anyway, it was a fantastic time.